Kherson under attack, hospital patients evacuated from the recently liberated Ukrainian city because of constant Russian shelling. The regional governor of Kherson, which has recently come back under Ukrainian control, says that due to relentless Russian bombing, the city's hospital is having to be evacuated. 15 people were killed in strikes on Friday. After their withdrawal from Kherson, Russian forces appear to be concentrating efforts towards the east of the country. In particular, they're trying to capture more territory near the city of Donetsk, which pro-Russian forces have controlled since 2014 and which Russia now claims has joined its federation. It's meant heavy damage to the Ukrainian-held town of Avdiivka, now effectively on the front line of the military battle. Our correspondent in Ukraine, Abdul-Jalil Abduralasov, has been there and has sent us this report.
This is what the front line looks like. Months of intensive fighting turned Avdiivka into a ghost town. Those people who are still staying in the town are too afraid to go out because of constant shelling. And it's really quiet here. The only sound we can hear is the sound of artillery fire, both outgoing and incoming. People come out from their shelters when humanitarian aid is delivered. To go to a shop or to take garbage out is an act of bravery now, this man tells me. You never know whether you would come back, he says. There are about 2,000 people remaining in Avdiivka. They try to survive without gas, electricity, heating and running water. 14 people stay in this basement. They got Christmas decorations to light the shelter and use an old stove for heating. Our main invention is a bucket, which we use as a toilet, Anatoly tells me. Local authorities, however, call people to leave the town. They warn that many will not survive the coming winter.
We will not be able to provide food. We will not be able to evacuate people, even if someone decides to leave, because the roads will be blocked by snow. This winter, we won't be able to do that at all. We tell people, do you understand that even if you don't starve to death, you may simply freeze to death?
Elena may follow his advice and get evacuated. She's making a pea soup outside of her apartment block. The building is severely damaged and cannot be used as a shelter in freezing weather.
Maybe I will leave. If they shell this place again, they can blow up the whole building. All those flats that are below mine are destroyed. The floor in my apartment still holds up, though.
As Elena waits for her soup to be cooked, an artillery shell flies over and lands a few hundred meters from us. We have to go inside to take cover. The sounds of explosion and gunfire remind everyone that the winter here is going to be deadly. Abdul-Jalil Abdurasulov, BBC News, Avdiivka.
Well, as Russia's war in Ukraine heads into its first winter, President Volodymyr Zelenska has repeatedly called for the world to help in his nightly address. Now his First Lady, Olena Zelenska, is taking on a more prominent role as our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, has been finding out as she met the First Lady of Ukraine.
President and First Lady. War ripped their lives apart, but brought their work closer together. As this war grinds on, lives lost, cold winter closing in with blackouts provoked by Russian strikes, Olena Zelenska is speaking out for Ukraine.
We've had so many challenges during these months, such trying challenges, so many victims, so much destruction, that if I'm honest with you, blackout is not the worst thing that can happen to us. Recently, an opinion poll was published. Ukrainians were asked how much longer can they endure in these conditions. The majority of Ukrainians, over 90%, said that they're prepared to endure this for 2 to 3 more years, if they can see the prospect of our membership in the EU.
2 to 3 more years.
At times it is extremely hard, but then we find new emotions which help us to keep going.
So you work here and he works there. They both work in this heavily guarded compound in Kyiv, but he now has to live where he works, separate from her and their 2 children. When he first ran for president in 2019, she told him it was a life she didn't want. He won by a landslide with her support. High school sweethearts filmed this on Valentine's Day, just 10 days before Russia invaded and everything changed. He can't travel, so she does. Brussels, the EU Parliament, a standing ovation for a woman who once said public speaking scared her. Washington, the US Congress, the first foreign First Lady to address this House, even more, to ask for weapons.
You crossed the line into politics.
That was not politics. That was something I had to say. I was asking for weapons, not for an attack. I was asking for weapons to rescue us, so that our children would not be killed in their homes.
Now she calls other First Ladies her colleagues. The US's Dr. Jill Biden came to see her, both focused on education, children, families torn apart. Ukraine's mourners in chief, public faces of its pain and prayer.
For all Ukrainians, peace equates to victory, because we all understand that without victory, there will not be peace in our country.
For now, they know peace isn't in sight, just a long, cold winter of little light. Lise Doucette, BBC News, Kyiv.
And we're going to be broadcasting the full interview with Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska and our Chief International Correspondent Lise Doucette, available on the iPlayer in the UK. But if you're watching on BBC World News, it will be on our network this weekend.